Hello everyone, I'm Zelda. Before diving into today's topic, I want to share something crucial. 10 years ago, in February 2014, I decided to seriously learn English. Over the past decade, despite the numerous attempts using various conventional methods, I couldn't achieve the desired results. The fact proves that I am not quite normal. I couldn't tolerate my inability to understand English literature and research papers in the fields I wanted to explore. I've completely lost patience with myself. Therefore, I've decided to take an extreme approach. Starting from now, my content will be presented in both Chinese and English versions. Your feedback and guidance are welcome. Now, let's talk about today's topic, Oppenheimer. This film, released in August last year, can be hailed as a masterpiece. It portrays Robert Oppenheimer, a Jewish American physicist known as the father of the atomic bomb. The movie is adapted from the biography novel American Promisers: The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. Promisers is a figure from Greek mythology, and will delve into that myth in a dedicated submission later. From now, it's essential to know that in the myth, Promisers brought the gift of fire to humanity. The movie has a runtime of 3 hours, and I recommend not watching it when feeling exceptionally tired. The story begins with Oppenheimer undergoing a security clearance herding and Strauss entering a cabin herding. In between two narrative threads, it recalls Oppenheimer's journey from his student days, starting at Cambridge, realizing he wasn't suited for the lab environment. There's flashback about a critical moment when Oppenheimer ingested cyanide into an apple, but he was fortunate to arrive in time, preventing a tragedy. A key point is introduced here. General Strauss, a memory of the Atomic Energy Commission, invites Oppenheimer to become the director of the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton. Oppenheimer, seeing Einstein outside the window, is asked by Strauss why Einstein wasn't involved in the Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer explains that Einstein's theory of relativity was published 40 years ago, and Einstein doesn't agree with the existence of quantum world. Later, Oppenheimer approaches Einstein, and they exchange a few words. When Strauss greets Einstein, he is ignored, setting up a plot twist to be revealed later. The story returns to the main plot after Oppenheimer leaves Cambridge, moving to the Netherlands to become a lecturer, teaching. Later, he goes to Germany and encounters a prominent physicist, Werner Heisenberg. Finally, he returns to the United States, accepting position at the California Institute of Technology and the United States of California, Berkeley. He established a quantum theory department, initially with just one student named Lomnitz. He poses as interesting question to Lomnitz: is light composed of particles or waves? It's a fascinating question. Choosing the charm of quantum mechanics, Oppenheimer informs his fellow students that quantum mechanics suggests both particles and waves are involved. As more students join, Oppenheimer delves into political discussion with them. His colleague Lawrence advised him against bringing politics in the laboratories. Later, at a gathering, he meets Dr. Sivali, who questions whether Oppenheimer has joined the Communist Party. Oppenheimer denies it, stating his votes for various other cases. Dr. Sivali then inquires about Oppenheimer's recent research, and Oppenheimer mentions studying the aftermath of stellar destruction, the cooling, collapsing process where large stars light the more intense reactions. Gravity condenses them until they engulf everything, including light. At the gallery, he encounters a woman named Jane, with whom he engages in a relationship. During their interaction, Jane picks up a sacred book, asking Oppenheimer to read its consent. Oppenheimer says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Later, Oppenheimer, his brother Frank, and Lawrence go camping. Oppenheimer hopes his brother won't join the Communist Party, but Frank remains steadfast, and Oppenheimer stops persuading. The next day, they read in the newspaper about Han and Strassman successfully splitting the uranium nucleus. Oppenheimer initially doubts it, but Lawrence answers that zero has limitations. Through experiments, they confirm the possibility of nuclear fission, realizing that a neutron escape triggers a chain reaction, potentially leading to atomic bomb development worldwide. On September 1, 1939, Oppenheimer's paper on black holes is published. Simultaneously, Hitler invades Poland, marking the outbreak of World War II. The narrative returns to the Hurlings, revealing Oppenheimer's ex-wife Katie's Communist Party affiliation. They met at a gathering where Oppenheimer explained quantum mechanics, describing everything as essentially empty, held together by tiny engine wave. Strong particle attraction indicated substance. The story then shifts to Oppenheimer and Katie's visit to a ranch in New Mexico. After a second marriage, Katie wishes to leave the Communist Party, distancing herself from it. Oppenheimer and Kate have a child. While Oppenheimer separates from Jane and Katie divorced her husband, an anti-communist named Borden submits a report accusing Oppenheimer of communist ties. Robinson and incident where Oppenheimer publicly humiliates just at a Norwegian Institute conference. As World War II unfolds, Oppenheimer joins the Manhattan Project's research efforts. Colonel Gross starts the need for a project leader to develop the atomic bomb and gain an advantage in the war. Oppenheimer convincingly analyzes the situation, promising to deceive Hitler through anti-Semitic propaganda, denying resources to Heisenberg in Germany. This stage aims to complete the bomb before Heisenberg does. Oppenheimer underlines Lawrence managing Berkeley's radiation lab. They led overseeing Chicago's meteorological lab, and has been in charge of the theoretical department. A secret town is planned in Los Alamos for scientists and their families. Girl and Oppenheimer start recording scientists. During the process, EC is concerned about turning centuries of physics into a destructive weapon. Oppenheimer emphasizes that not using it won't stop the Nazis from doing so, leaving them no choice. Later, as Edward Taylor calculates the chain reaction, he suggests it might explode the Earth. Oppenheimer rushes the Einstein, explaining the gradual stage of chain reaction leading to a massive explosion. Worried about destroying the atmosphere, he asks Einstein to reveal it. Einstein directs him to theoretical exponents for calculation. emphasizing the importance of informing the Nazis if the truth is catastrophic. The calculation yields a probability close to zero, but not zero. During this period, Oppenheimer became aware of civilians' attempts to trump him with questions about the Manhattan Project. Soon, he relocates with his wife and child to Los Alamos to commence the Manhattan Project. Edward suggests using hydrogen rather than unions or plutonium. Initially, fission reactions under Ehrman's pressure. However, they decided to focus on fission bombs first. This hints at hydrogen bomb researches as foreshadows why Oppenheimer loses secret cleaner to be explained later. The scene shifts back to the hurling, and Oppenheimer visits Jane, revealing her elevation with the Communist Party and planting suspicions of Oppenheimer being a Soviet spy. He then meets Colonel Posh, responsible for information leaks hinting at a presidential desire to share information with the Russians. The scientist finds himself under the burden of proving his loyalty. Meanwhile, Niels tells Oppenheimer he is America's promises, vowing not to let politicians turn it into a new weapon. Adding to Oppenheimer's psychological pressure, news of Jane's suicide surfaces, leaving a note mentioning their past relationship. Oppenheimer feels guilty, but the Manhattan Project continues. Later, Edward disagrees with other scientists and plans to leave, but Oppenheimer convinces him to stay, assigning him to hydrogen bomb research. At this point, Oppenheimer remains unaware of Edward's ulterior motives. Soon after, news of Hitler's death reaches them, and students propose halting the Manhattan Project since Germany might surrender. Oppenheimer insists on completing the Trinity nuclear test due to Japanese ongoing efforts. The test is successfully, but Oppenheimer recalls the haunting words. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. The military takes away little boy, the atomic bomb, and Oppenheimer suggests detonating it at a higher altitude for reduced impacts. The military dismisses him, stating his role is over. On August 6, 1945, Little Boy detonates over Hiroshima, causing diverse equivalent to over 20,000 tons of TNT, resulting in the death of more than 200 people. Oppenheimer became the father of the atomic bomb, but he started experiencing moral torment. When meeting President Truman, he suggests returning Los Alamos to Native Americans, filling his hands while stained with blood. Truman stopped the conversation. Some researchers faced difficulty due to Oppenheimer's insistence on limiting the hydrogen bomb. When Truman decided to proceed with the hydrogen bomb project, Oppenheimer nearly collapsed. Returning to Oppenheimer's hurling, it revealed that it originated from his public humiliation of Strauss at a meeting in Norway on isotopes. Strauss harbored resentment, planning to ruin Oppenheimer's reputation. He orchestrated the hurling. Fascinatingly, leaving Oppenheimer has a Soviet spy. During the hurling, Edward intentionally slandered Oppenheimer to establish himself as the father of the hydrogen bomb. Consequently, Oppenheimer lost security cleaner. However, karma played its role. Strauss aiming the bring down Oppenheimer failed the secure votes for his cabinet appointment. Einstein and Oppenheimer's meeting did not involve discussing Strauss. They merely highlighted the difference in politics, business, and the sciences, leading to deserved outcomes based on distinct values. Einstein ignored Strauss, recognizing him as a person with diverging intellectual types unrelated to Oppenheimer. After the bombing of Hiroshima, Oppenheimer as the father of the atomic bomb. Strong opposed the retreat on the hydrogen bomb. He carelessly preached about the dangers of weapon production, seeking forgiveness from humanity, despite facing pressure throughout his later life, with his country consistently suspected him and the haunting souls of 200,000 criminals. Oppenheimer's guilt might be unnecessary. The reality is that if he hadn't built the atomic bomb, others would have. Whether or not he built the next hydrogen bomb, someone like Edward Tyler would. The forgiveness or lack thereof is irrelevant as soon as Earth exists with sourdough structures intact. Humanity must prove that it won't self-destruct. The U.S. has in promises, and another country possesses similar capabilities. Our task is continually broaden our sphere horizons, promote warriors arcing to the Olympic spirit, encouraging through with a purchase for conflict of channel it constructively. Let genres of science focus on advancing the world rather than destroying it, and doesn't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Goodbye. Start recording scientists 啊。